How's it going, everyone? It is 3:32 in the morning over here. Um, I have some articles to read you guys. Breaking news from around the world is going on at a very rapid pace. I have so many articles to disclose to you guys this morning. We had the attempted blank of R. Fico, smell of WW3, the statements that precipitated his execution, and the whitewashing of the British media. This is R. Fico right here. Yesterday, he was under an assassination attempt. The darkest moments in EU history are highlighted by the attempted assassination of the Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, an attempt reminiscent of the assassination of the Archduke of Austria, Ferdinand, that led into the First World War. This is a very unpleasant development for Europe, as it seems that anyone who deviates from the common policy of war against Russia risks assassination. And it's precisely this point that points in the direction of the frontal Europe, Russia, and outbreak of World War III. When even Europe's moderate leaders are in danger of execution, then some have already decided on the line to follow, and that is none other than conflict to end. We can say that it was also a message to other leaders such as V. Orban, his Austrian counterpart, and even Serbian leader A. Vucic. Elena Penina, director of the Institute of Russian Strategic Studies, said if the initiators of the West planned for a major war, whether it is in the U.S. or Europe, started killing politicians, then this is the clearest example of what a rules-based order looks like. Indirectly, he speaks of the harbinger of a great war in the front of which Ukraine will look like a playground. Typical is the laudering attempt by various British media. Sky News said Robert Fico had become a very pro-Russian and added, he is a very divisive figure in Slovakia and in the EU. It is not surprising that such an event happened because Slovakia was determined to develop in the future as an authoritarian country or a more Western European country. Hungary, Slovakia, Austria, they are all now resisting the pan-European line of the support for Ukraine and undermining the general consensus, which the moment is very anti-Russian. I have some disagreements with this article actually. I don't believe that's why he had this cue. I'm gonna show you guys here in a minute why he had this cue. But being pro-Russian and stuff, I don't believe that this is it. It's because in January he denied the WEF's health treaty, and he also advocated to the world that he was going to look into the bat disease and investigate every single part of his parliament over there. This article's a little conflicting. You don't hate journalists enough. Sky News justifies the shooting of Slovakian PM Robert Fico by calling it a very unhappy country that's headed towards a more authoritarian future. In other words, they're happy he was shot because Fico is a populist, not a globalist. Wow. Wow. Who would want him blank? What did Robert Fico say? Ukraine is not an independent or sovereign country at all, under the full control and influence of the United States, he said in January. We consider the aid to Ukraine as exclusive humanitarian civil aid. We will no longer supply weapons to Ukraine, Robert Fico said the day after his appointment as Prime Minister. In February, Slovakia's Prime Minister revealed ahead of a meeting European leaders in Paris where European leaders discussed that Ukraine issued many NATO and European Union members countries are considering sending troops to Ukraine on a bilateral basis. Fico is then due to meet with his Ukrainian counterpart Denis Shmyhal in a town on the border between the two countries. I will tell him that I am against Ukraine joining NATO and I will exercise my veto. This will trigger the Third World War, nothing else, the Slovak Prime Minister told public broadcaster RTVS. Kyiv will not receive weapons from the army of the Slavic state. He also accused Ukraine of being among the most corrupt countries in the world. That's it right there. It's fact. Lord, how much aid has it received? It's disappearing. They've received $89 billion, and just this week, Anthony Blinken. Oh God, this guy is pissing me off. He's giving them $2 billion more. People in the United States wonder why all of our bills are high, inflation's high, and they wonder why gas is going up. It's because we're giving them so much money. In his view, Ukraine's two-year armed conflict with Russia is impossible to resolve by military means, and Kyiv will have to cede parts of Ukrainian territory. There will have to be a compromise on some kind that will be very painful for both sides. What are they waiting for? How will Russians leave? This is not realistic, he insisted. The war in Ukraine started in 2014, not 2022, when Ukrainian fascists killed citizens of Russia's citizenship in Ukraine. Americans are fighting Russia with Ukrainian soldiers. Robert Fico has consistently opposed the proxy war in Ukraine, called for negotiations and an end to the prolonging conflict. So this is coming from War News 24/7, guys. I'm not even going to go to this board Johnson. We got 19 hours ago. Preparing for World War III. Kremlin cabinet shakeup signals Putin may extend special military operations beyond Ukraine. Whew. Oh boy. I don't even know what this says. This came out 19 hours ago. Vladimir Putin's dismissal of his defense minister signals that the Kremlin is preparing for World War III, according to a prominent Russia dissident. Over the weekend, Putin disrupted Russia's political landscape by removing some of his closest allies. One significant figure ousted was Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, who was replaced by Andrew Belousov. Oh, wow, I did not know that he was replaced this last week. Oh, boy. Shoigu had faced severe criticism for his management of the war, which has set off resulted in only minor territorial gains at the cost of thousands of Russian soldiers' lives, reports he expressed. Belousov, formerly the first deputy prime minister, is a trusted advisor of Putin, particularly on economic matters. Known for his opposition to free markets, he advocates for nationalizing the economy and increasing business taxes, reminiscent of Soviet-era policies. Ilya Ponomarev, a leading anti-Putin activist, interprets this move as a clear indication that the Kremlin is gearing up for a prolonged conflict, likely extending beyond Ukraine. He stated, "I think his priorities changed. He does not believe in military breakthroughs any longer, and a war of attrition needs a strong industrialist as the top manager. Military decisions will be made by Putin himself." This is coming out today.
Advancing and pounding settlements along the border. The Ukrainian military has given details of the pullback amidst the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's unannounced visit to Kiev. A big focus of Blinken's visit has been Ukraine's eagerly awaited U.S. arms supplies.
All of us admire your extraordinary resilience, your endurance, your strength, your leadership. And we know this is a challenging time, but we also know that in the near term, the assistance is now on the way. Some of it's already arrived. More of it will be arriving. And that's going to make a real difference against the ongoing Russian aggression on the battlefield.
Moscow launched a major ground assault on the Kharkiv region last week, with Kiev struggling for arms and manpower. The Lukansky and Vovchansk villages are now the primary targets for Russia. Ukraine's chief of army staff said that the situation remains pretty difficult, but insisted that its forces were quote-unquote not allowing the Russian occupiers to gain a foothold. The Kiev has said that it has rushed reinforcements to the area. The Russian commanders have been preparing their offensive for months away from the front lines in Kharkiv. Russia has maintained relentless missile and drone attacks targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Kiev on Wednesday cancelled some emergency power blackouts that it had introduced to deal with a drop in temperatures that had strained its battered energy system. The power outages had become a regular feature in many parts of the country after the Russian missile attacks had destroyed energy infrastructure and power generating facilities.
Ponomarev further explained that Putin's cabinet reshuffle suggested a long-term commitment to warfare, potentially involving the Baltic States and Poland. He emphasized that Borisov's appointment signifies a continued focus on militarizing the economy for the long haul. In a significant change, Nikolai Patrushev was removed from his role as Secretary of the Security Council of Russia. Ponomarev views this as a strategic move by Putin to eliminate any threats of rebellion within his ranks. He kept balance by firing Patrushev, who just attacked Shogu recently by promoting Chernousov Jr. at the same time. This is coming from Microsoft and front page detectives. State Secretary Blinken makes a statement about using American weapons for strikes on Russian territory. This is astronomical news right here, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to check, make sure everything's going well over here on my stream. Oh boy. This guy is a traitor to America. This guy sucks. And I'm entitled to that opinion. This guy's literally throwing our money away. And he's selling out Americans. And he's helping fuel the start of World War III. This guy needs to be held accountable. The United States does not urge Ukraine to strike outside its military, but Ukraine chooses how to wage war on its own, says U.S. Secretary Anthony Blinken at a briefing with Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmitry Kuleba. Blinken notes that the United States cannot encourage strikes outside the Ukrainian territory, but Ukraine makes its final decisions. Again, we are determined that Ukraine wins the war and succeeds for its people and for its future. We've affirmed that about it in our own policy, but again, these are decisions Ukraine has to make for itself, he said. Blinken adds that the United States is helping to provide Ukraine with the means to win the war. Earlier, Western media reported that Ukraine's partners restricted using Western weapons, not allowing Kyiv to strike at Russian territory with arms provided by its allies. According to the reports, because of this restriction in particular, Germany does not want to provide Ukraine with long-term Taurus missiles, as it allegedly will not be able to control their use. Recently, British Foreign Minister David Cameron said that Ukraine had the right to strike at Russian territory with weapons provided by UK. This guy sucks. Oh man, one more, guys. This came out 1 hour ago. I left this for last for a reason. Why did a Russian ambassador issue a veiled nuclear threat against a NATO nation? Finland has recently become a full NATO member state, but this Russian neighbor could find itself in trouble with Moscow if Helsinki allows nuclear weapons to be on its territory, according to comments that the Russian ambassador to Finland made in earlier April 2024. Moscow could retaliate against Finland if it allowed nuclear weapons to be placed on its territory, according to a warning from Pavel Kustanov. But why is Russia so worried? Why is Russia so Kremlin worried? That's a misprint right there. And what did Kustanov threaten would be the consequences of such actions on Helsinki's part? Finland is one of the newest members to join NATO and was officially welcomed into the Russian military alliance in April 2023. However, the country shares a 832-mile border with Russia and has remained neutral in the struggle between NATO and Russia for decades. The geopolitics of the area can be difficult at times, but Finnish leadership has pursued a policy for non-alignment for several decades. According to Reuters, Finland's position only ended after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Newsweek reported that Finland was spurred on to join NATO by increased threats Russia posed to itself and other countries following the February 2024. Helsinki began the process of joining the Transatlantic Defense Alliance in tandem with Sweden in May 2022. For example, in June 2022, Putin said that Finland and Sweden could join the military alliance, but said if military contingencies and military infrastructure were deployed there, he would be obligated to respond symmetrically. I agree. I agree. We're in the United States. Can you imagine if China put tanks on our border, or Japan put tanks on our border, or if Russia put tanks on our border? That's, Putin is advocating his sovereignty. You guys just can't put weapons of mass destruction on the border and not expect any country to be a little pissed off. Not just Russia. Any country, especially the United States. They're being hypocrites. Absolute hypocrites. troops will be stationed at the border. In March 2024, Putin revealed that Russia was planning to redeploy troops at its border with Finland in response to the country's ascension to NATO during an interview with the Russian journalist Dmitry Kislov, according to the United Press Journal. Good relations. We generally had ideal relations with Finland, simply perfect. We did not have a single claim against each other, especially territorial, not to mention other areas, Putin stated, according to a translation of his remarks by Political. We didn't even have troops, Putin added, explaining to Kislov that Russia removed all of its troops from the Russian-Finnish border before adding that Moscow would now have troops stationed along the border of Finland. A migration crisis caused by Russia. Russia and Finland have also been fighting a prolonged border dispute over a migration issue that led to Helsinki closing its land border to Russia indefinitely to stop the flow of Syrian and Somali arrivals coming from Russia. How many more of these? I got 20. Oh man, it just keeps going on and on and on, ladies and gentlemen. This is just absolutely insane. I just wanted to bring this information to your guys' attention because I feel like it is very concerning what is going on in the world right now. And, stuff like this with our FICO, like, this is what fueled the First World War. These are things we need to talk about. These are things I wanted to bring out to the channel. These are highly intense articles. And there has been absolutely no de-escalation. I just want to bring these articles to you guys' attention today. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys found this information informative, if you guys liked the video, please like the video. Please share the video so other people can see it. I don't care about the likes. I just want other people to get informed about what is going on in the world. Please share this video and please help other people stay informed about what is truly going on in the world. Thank you everyone for your time today. I appreciate you coming to the channel, and as always, stay safe, stay informed. Catch you in the next one.